Hey guys, my name is Moltanen. It's been a long time since we've last talked, maybe like 10 years or something. I'm here to explain this Reddit thing that I just saw. We're focused mainly on this text here. Let's see if I'm still worthy of your attention. Let's just jump back to After Effects. I'm working in CS6 just because I love it to death. It's the best version ever. So as long as I can, I work in this version still, at least for prototyping and whatnot. But let's leave that all aside. Let's just focus on this one thing. Uh, so the solution for this will be duplicating this line of text. As you can see, each duplicate has its own content. That's another thing. It's not necessary for this trick, but I kind of like it. It's a nice solution. If you've got a list of names or places or whatever, it's just kind of cool that you just duplicate one ready to be used line that can be saved as a preset and everything, and you can just fill it with content. So we've got this. We're going to do all of that. It's not necessary for this thing to work, but I got this one text layer that has all of the content in it. And then I got this expression here on this line that just picks the correct line from this database, if you will. And then we can just rotate everything. And once the text is the one selected, as you can see, it just tracks over and it's got these outline and everything. So it's kind of self-explanatory of what we'll be doing. Everything else from this Reddit post is like a separate issue, so let's not go there. I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. So let's just get rid of all of that and just create a new text layer, and this is going to be our all the text lines. Let's just call it like that. By the way, I got all the names from a randomwordgenerator.com. You can go like random name generator. So I got just this. Let's just generate random names. Ta-da! There we go. Let's just grab those and just paste them over there. So here I go. Double click, paste it, and that's it. We don't really need to stylize it in any way, but I kind of prefer it to keep it in the same way as my text will be later on. So maybe let's just get rid of the outline, because that's kind of distracting, and also it takes more computing power. Like, I try to save computing power whenever I can. So here we go. Let's do another text. This is going to be line 01. We don't really need to put a number in here, but I kind of prefer it because once you duplicate it by pressing Ctrl D or Command D if you're on a Mac, it's just going to increase the number automatically, which is kind of nice. So we've got this, and we need the first expression to get the proper line. So first of all, I'm just going to turn all the lines into a guide layer, so that will prevent it from being rendered by accident once we're finished. I'm going to turn it off anyway, so let's just do this. So let's just go here and go here and go here and just do the expression over here. Unfortunately, one big downside of the old version is the old expression editor. I have my own, but that kind of plugs into this. But long story short, I'm not using it now because this would probably spawn too many questions for me to answer. So let's just do one. And my headphones just disconnected. Sorry for that. Hopefully it won't happen again. So again, we're just here putting in the expression for the line. So we're going to need this source text to begin with. Let's do this, and let's just calculate the proper index number of the text, because as you probably know, we can address a given line by its index. So this is line number 0, number 1, number 2, and so on and so forth. So this will have to be dependent on the index of this layer. But since we're going to probably put some other stuff in this composition, what I like to do is to do a one null. I'm going to call it settings, because there's probably going to be some settings that we're going to be using in this. So I'm just going to parent it here, and here's my copyrighted trick. Not really copyrighted, but it's something that I do all the time whenever I'm doing this sort of a thing. When I have many duplicates, that are part of some list that I got layers, and they need to react a little bit differently based on their index number. So what I always do, like always with no exception, is this. Instead of using index, I use my own variable called indx, which sounds like index, but this is always the same for me, and it tells me that this is a pre-calculated index. So let's just do this. It's going to be index minus, and look at this, parent index, and then -1. And this ensures that this layer is always 0. Like the condition is that whenever the line or the queue, or however you want to think about it, starts, is immediately after a null layer that it is parented to. It doesn't have to be null, but it usually is. So immediately after it's parented, after its parents. So that's, oops, I deleted the wrong thing by accident. Sorry. Yep. Let's just do this like this, like this. Okay. I haven't done this in a while. Sorry. So this, let's see. Okay, it's 0. Look at this, 0, and the next one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So we've got the index number, and now let's go to all the lines. We're gonna go and grab those. Okay, and now we need to grab one, so all the lines, but we need to split it by the new line character, split. In newer versions, you can go /n, but in this version, I think you need to go /r, if I remember correctly. And now let's just grab the index indx, and this should give us the proper line. There we go. Simon Miranda, whatever. Okay, let's do this, and next. Okay, that works fine. So I'm going to copy this line because we're going to be using it all the time. And with that said, let's think about the settings. Since this is going to be, like, we can imagine a circle that has its radius somewhere over here, probably. I mean, its origin, right? And the radius is like this distance. So we need an equation for a circle, which is really simple. I know it's trigonometry, but seriously, you don't need to know trigonometry. You just need to know this one combo of cosine and sine, and you're just gonna be king of motion graphics. Okay, so let's just do this. I'm going to grab a position, and we are going to have to calculate the position based on the radius of the circle. So we want to set this. So let's go slider. Let's just do this, and let's just call this radius. Also, each text, as you can see, needs to be rotated a little bit. It's like a seconds handle on a clock, right? It just goes around having a center somewhere. So it needs to, I need to define how far along on the clock face it needs to rotate. So let's just make another slider, or actually maybe a angle control. And just to remind you, it doesn't really matter which one you use, slider or angle control. It's just numbers. It's just for your convenience. So let's just do angle increment. So how far apart and the angles they're going to be, each line is going to be apart from another. Also, we will need to rotate the entire thing. So we will need to have the offset, or maybe let's just call it selector. Yeah, selector, offset, doesn't really matter. This should work, but since we're going to be moving this on the circle, we're also going to have to be rotating this. If it goes down, it needs to rotate. So those two angles, the one how far it's going to go down is going to have to be the same as far as going to be rotated. Okay, so instead of calculating it twice, I'm going to first calculate it on the rotation, and then use this in the position where I'm going to be using the trig to calculate this. So let me just log this up, and let's just press Alt on the stopwatch, and let's paste this one beautiful line that we always use. And let's do this. Once I have that, I'm gonna have to take the angle increment. I need to know what it is. It's going to be this, and I need to know how far. Oh, of course, on the selector. Let's just do this, and we're going to be multiplying the angle increment by the index, and we can add this selector to it. Or we could also multiply index by selector. I don't think that would make much difference. Selector, and I think that's gonna be fine, right? Let's just duplicate it. And the increment, let's just go like, I don't know, 3 degrees. Yeah, there we go. So each one rotates a little bit. There you go. One more trick for you. So we've got this, and now we need to use this angle, keeping in mind that it's in degrees, and trigonometry functions like it in radians. So we'll have to do a little conversion on the way, but there's a function for that, so you don't need to worry about math. So let's just do this. And let's just go like this, and I'm gonna paste this index thing again because it's just super universal. We don't need to worry about the increment and selector, I don't think, because we already have the angle over here. Yeah, so let's just do this. Let's call this radians, and we're going to convert degrees to radians. Oh, sorry. See, this is the thing why I wrote my own expression editor for the earlier versions. Degrees to radians, and it's going to be just our rotation. So once we have this, we can now calculate the, oh, sorry, let's do this. New x, and that's going to be math cosine of radians multiplied, oh yeah, by the radius that we did not grab yet. And new y is going to be math sine of radians multiplied by radius. It's just how it is. If you don't know where this comes from, it's just math. It's just like basic math. Look it up on Wikipedia. The parametric equation for a circle. That's what you should be looking for. Radius. You should learn this in school, by the way. So let's just do this, and that should be it. Am I right? Oh, almost. And x and y, but this assumes that the center of the circle is in this spot. If I'm gonna like duplicate it a couple of times and then increase the radius, yeah, it works, as you can see, but it moves away. So we need to subtract the radius over here. So minus radius, and this should be it. Yep, works like a charm. Let's duplicate it some more. Yep, let's increase the increment over here, maybe 4. And yeah, there we go. Right, radius, yeah, we can keep radius as it is. Let's go 512, of course, why not? And selector, does this work? Yes, it does. Ta-da! There you go. Now you just grab this null and just put it where you need it. And that's pretty much it. Quite simple, isn't it? Let's do this. Okay, and let's duplicate some more. Unfortunately, if we go above the 32 lines that I've generated here, okay, and the thing turned off again. I need to figure out why it does that. Probably because it's not playing anything, and it's a wireless headphone. Doesn't matter. Pisses me off. Anyway, we're gonna get an error here because I only generated 32 lines, I think. Okay, doesn't matter. I think I generated 32 lines. So if we go above 32 lines, I'm going to get an error. So I want to avoid that. And in order to do that, I'm going to do a modulus operation. Modulus is something that allows you to loop the numbers. Once you exceed a given number, let's say 10, it's then going to start counting from 0 back again. If you're thinking looping in math, think modulus. Modulus is this percentage sign, and I'm just going to put 32 in here because that should be it. Even if I generated less than 32, we're not going to break it. So let's just do this. Look at this. Isn't this pretty? Yeah, no errors. Look, works like a charm. Let's do this. Selector 0, and let's just move. Yep. Yep. Works as expected. The only thing that we can do is maybe to somehow make this selected text, I mean the one that is like in the middle, stand out a little bit more. And there's very nice thing we can realize. The text that should be selected is the one that is at 0 rotation. So now we need to just have to pick property we want to change. Let's just pick like tracking, like we did in the example that I showed you at the beginning. And over here, we can just do like a linear interpolation, or even better, ease. And let's take the rotation, actually length. Let's take the length between rotation and 0 rotation. So whatever rotation is negative or positive, it's a given distance from 0. Okay, that's just how I like to think about it. So the minimum is of course 0. The maximum is, oh yeah, this is something that we can set a slider for actually. Let's do slider. Let's call it, I don't know, trigger angular distance. Distance. Okay, there we go. Let's go like, I don't know, 3 degrees maybe, or even more because there's, or I mean even less because there's 4 in here as the increment. Doesn't really matter. You can always change it. So let's just do this and let's just go trigger. Let's set it to this. Okay. Hello. To trigger. And it's going to be what, like 8 tracking if we're there and 0 tracking if we're not. Should work. There we go. And now when we move away from it, yep. Perfect. By the way, if you're working and you're doing this onomatopoeic sounds while you're working, like I just did, it means you're in the right place in life. Just you can feel good about yourself. Let's just do this. Duplicate, 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 and there we go. I hope this recording turns out okay with all the breaks and disconnecting headphones, because if I have to record it again, I'm probably not gonna. Let's just see how this works. I did keyframes, like regular keyframes. Who would have thought? And yes, works like a charm. Thanks. I hope it helps. See you, hopefully, sometime soon. Bye.